All right, thanks for joining us. Chaos to Clarity. Really interesting setup early next week. Now, the models are all over the place on this. Now, they appear as if at least the latest runs are not bearing this to the southeast. I don't trust this one bit yet. I really don't. And I know I've had people saying that it's trending north. There are no trends right now, at least in my mind. The GFS is now trending that the storm's not going to get buried to the south. We'll see. It's a very complicated setup. I want to show you where we're going and where we start. And when you see where we start, where we're starting at, and where all the energy is with this, you're going to realize we have a long way to go with this storm. We really do. And anybody that says, listen, I can only talk for me. There's a lot of pieces with this, a lot of complication. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out yet. I have a gut feeling where I think this is going to go, but let's see. All right, I want to take you here to, let's go to Sunday morning. I want to show you where we are beginning Sunday morning here. All right. Okay. So we've got a split flow. I've been talking about this. This is Sunday evening. Got two branches of the jet stream. This is the northern branch. This is the southern branch. Think of it this way. This is the storm. Okay. And this piece is going to be steering this system. All right. And it's also going to do something else. It's going to deliver some much colder air into the storm. Now, there is an injection of cold air, which I think is key. A lot of people aren't talking about. This piece coming across New England on Sunday will give you an injection of cold air. All right. And it's going to be cold enough for snow, maybe down toward the Pittsburgh area, but certainly across New York State. And I think this is determining where the southern edge of this snow is going to be. I've already ruled out, I don't think you're going to get anything significant in Washington, D.C., Baltimore on south. Philadelphia, I can see. And even around Pittsburgh, I think it'll be cold enough to snow. I don't think you're going to get a whole lot out of this. I think this is more going to be northeastern Pennsylvania, eastern PA, eastern New York, and in New England, assuming the storm comes to the north. Now, here's the real key. And I've been talking about this on the AccuWeather network. What has to happen is that this piece of energy must outrun this trough. And really, it's not this piece, it's this piece. Because watch what happens. This is the GFS. We'll show you the European in a second. It's similar in that, see, this first piece, it goes across the northeast. You see that? Its first piece goes across the northeast. So this misses the connection with this upper low. It sits here. Here's this. This runs out in front. Here's your main piece. And this is what steers this to the northeast, right? Watch. See, it steers it to the northeast. This is the European, very similar. We start Sunday evening. You have this initial piece. Now, I think what's been going on is that initially the modelings were going with this piece that would drive this to the east. It's going to miss the connection. This lifts to the north because you've got this stronger piece diving southeast. Watch what happens as we head into the period here. And then what happens is, see, this runs out ahead of it. See that? Now, that's the key. This southern piece must run in advance of your northern piece if they're moving at the same speed, or if this piece of energy is faster than the southern piece, this gets buried off to the south and there is no storm. And I want to remind everybody that yesterday at this time, all modeling had this, the European and GFS had this storm off to the southeast. Don't be surprised if you see that again. Now, I want to show you how complicated this is so you understand we're nowhere near the solution on this storm. I know others don't believe me on that, but I want to show you why. Let's go back to where we are. So what we're going to do is and these are the main pieces. Well, these are going to play a part of the role, but you have this piece and this piece. Where are they now? It's like, where are they now? Let me show you where it is. Let me go back. So let me go to Sunday evening. Let me put this on, and then you can see how complicated this is and why I don't trust anything right now. All right, let's go to Sunday evening. So here are the pieces we're going to track. This piece and this piece. Where are they right now? So we get an idea. Well, let's track them. Let's take this first piece first. This one here. Where's this coming from? Do it one at a time. There it is, there it is, there it is. We're going to stop this. Here it is right now across the desert Southwest. That's Sunday morning. Let's keep going. Here it is. Let's go to Thursday evening. Here it is. So this is tomorrow evening. It's this piece right here. British Columbia. I'm going to keep that circled. Let's continue to follow this, although I've got to turn off the pen. Follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it. Okay. So that piece of energy, the southern piece is right here in the Aleutian Islands. So this is your first piece. Now, we'll remember that. Let's go back to Sunday evening. So where is the steering piece, the northern piece? Where is it? Well, this is the piece. Let's circle it. Where is it now? Let's go back. Let's follow it as we go forward. So there it is. Follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it. I'm going to stop it here, 1 o'clock on Saturday. It's in here across the Yukon Territory and northern British Columbia. That's where it is. It's this piece right there. Let's keep following it. Going, 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 going. We're going to Saturday morning. Friday morning, where is it? It's in here, right here. Okay? Keep going, 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 going. It is part of this piece of energy right here. So these are the pieces of energy. They're well out in the Pacific. That's why I don't trust this. And plus, you've got all these numerous pieces that are rotating around. So the answer to this is far from over. Okay? It's far from over because you can see where they are right now. And I can show you a satellite picture of this, by the way, just so you get a sense of what we're talking about. Satellite. So here they are. Here are the pieces. I have them highlighted. Piece 1, piece 2. This will actually be the northern piece. This is going to be the southern piece. All right? So that's how complicated it is. And you have all these other pieces going on. So I just want you to understand, do not be surprised as we go forward if the modeling takes this out to sea, lifts it farther north, lifts it farther south. I think it's going to be all over the place. What do we call that? The windshield wiper effect. There have been no trends right now that I'm comfortable with. Others may disagree with that. I understand. All right, let's go back. And now we will talk about what, let's go forward here. So let me go back. Let's go back to where we were. Let's go to Sunday evening. We'll talk about what is going to happen. So here we go into Sunday evening. All right, so there we go. Now, European GFS. This is the GFS. Let's go to 7 o'clock Monday evening. Here's the GFS. Monday evening. Stronger piece here. Here's your southern piece. For those that want snow, good news, because now this piece is running out ahead of the northern shortwave, so this will get guided to the northeast. Now, if this piece lingers, or this piece is farther north, or is faster, let's say it's over here, this would get buried to the southeast, and there would be no snow, and I'll explain that in a second. Right now, the modeling says that this is out in front. I'm not sure about that yet, but that's what we're going to key in on. Now, that's the GFS. Let's take a look at the European, same time frame. Now, you'll notice GFS European, GFS European, GFS European. Notice GFS European. European weaker with this, much weaker with this. And it's farther along. It's a little faster. GFS a little farther back, European a little farther to the north and faster. That's why the GFS is farther north than the European, okay? And also it strengthens the system faster, the GFS, because it is a stronger northern piece. See? This is the northern piece that's going to drop into this and strengthen. Now, let's go to Tuesday morning. See the difference here? Tuesday morning. There's there's GFS, European. GFS, European. GFS, European. See the difference? European, much weaker and faster with this. The GFS, slower and stronger, which makes sense. That's why the European is farther south. Now, it's still out ahead of this enough that this would be a disruptive snowstorm for some, but not as much as the GFS is. Look at the GFS. GFS, a lot stronger with that trough. It's guiding it farther north. See? And as we move forward, European, now you're getting this to drop in it, pieces dropped in it. this system really starts to bomb out then. That wouldn't be until Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night. The GFS, a little different. See, it's bombing it out over here across New England with a closed off upper low. I mean, this would be a big snowstorm for northern New England. I'm skeptical of the GFS. I'm skeptical that the GFS is right because it's been all over the place. Europeans have been a little more consistent, although it's been burying it south, but it's more consistent, I think, every time it showed it farther north, it showed this kind of setup, that it is this northern piece is a little faster and a little slow and a little faster and a little weaker. The GFS has been all over the place. Now, everybody's asking me, how in the world can you say that DC and Baltimore are out of this? Here's why. There's no injection of cold air there. Let me show you this. See, what's going on, there's a couple of pieces of energy that is going to provide some cold air. See, you have these pieces. Here's a piece, and then this is your main piece. These are weaker pieces in advance of the storm. This cold injection doesn't come in until the end. So you never get the cold air south of the Pennsylvania-Maryland line. So I think DC, Baltimore, you're out of this. Philadelphia, New York City, you're on the edge of this. And the farther north you go, the better bet you're going to get snow with this. I think New York City is a better shot of snow than Philly. I think Boston is a much better shot, than New York, and a far better shot than Philly. See, the farther north you go, the better bet. Let me show you what the surface panel looks like here, and you can see what I mean. So, here we go. So, when you look at the surface panel, let's go in the Sunday evening. See, you already have an injection of cold air. It's not much, but it's in here. This is where it's cold enough to snow. Down in Baltimore, Washington, no. That's the GFS. Let me show you the European. Same story. Where's the cold air? It's in here. In here. You see that? Not in Baltimore, Washington. Now, when does it get cold? Well, with that second piece of energy coming in. Let's show the surface map. Here we go Monday evening. Still not cold enough for snow. Not cold enough for snow. Washington, D.C. Roughly your snow area would be somewhere in here. This is where it's cold enough for snow. Philadelphia, you're close. Because what happens is then as the storm starts to intensify, this is the European, this is the GFS, you start bringing the cold air in right in here by about 1 o'clock. Now, the GFS farther north. So that's even more detrimental to places like Philadelphia and New York City. I just don't believe that's the case. Look at the difference in the track of the storm here. This is the European GFS. European GFS. Listen, the European has a strong storm. It's strengthening it, though, off the coast, and it continues to run it off the coast. That's 976 on the European by Tuesday afternoon. There's the GFS, farther north and west. You see that? Why? Because the trough is stronger. See? There's the difference. Now, I'm warning you, there's still a possibility that this gets buried to the south and there's no snow. And if this goes farther south, here's the thing. You don't have enough cold air. Let's go back. You do not have enough cold air. If this storm would go south in here, you don't have any cold air in here where the precipitation would get to. And the precipitation would be disconnected from the cold air. Washington, D.C., you're out of this. Baltimore, you're out of it. Philly, you're on the edge. Now, I want to show you this. I typically don't like looking at model snowfall, but I do think it's worth looking at it to show you the difference in the location of the snow. I'm not worried about the amounts right now. Not yet. So I want to show you this really quick. This is the modeling between the GFS and the European. Just worry about the location. So this European, GFS, European, GFS, European. See how European's farther south. See, it's because of the strength of that trough. I've been showing this on the network all morning, and I still like this. I really do. I still like this map. This is still a possibility. Do not think for a second that this is 100% that this is where the storm's going. I could see this buried off to the south, and that has been the trend all winter, that these systems get buried off to the south. So keep that in mind. Now, if that trough, the southern piece gets out ahead of it, then we have something to work with. I want to give you an idea of where I think the snow is going to be. And I like this map. I really do. But I'm going to draw you a map right now, assuming that this storm goes farther north and it doesn't get buried. I want to give you an idea of what we're looking at for the snow here. So let me go back to this, and I want to turn this pen off, and I will go to a blank map, blank slate. So here's the area where I think it's going to snow. If you get that southern piece, I'm going to put Philadelphia on the southern edge. I'm going to put all of Long Island on this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to come up in here. I'm going to come around. I'm going to come in here. And like this. Now, these areas like Pittsburgh, I mean, maybe it's a coating to an inch. Maybe you get 2. It's not going to be more than that. You start getting into this area here. This could be a few inches of snow, 3, 4, 5 inches of snow in this area. You know, this may be a coating to an inch or 2, you know, something like this. This would be like 1 to 3. And then you get into this area, I could see a solid 3 to 6. Now, let me try this again because I want to have eastern Pennsylvania in my heaviest area. So it's going to be something like this. So this is like coating to 1 at most. That would be like Pittsburgh, 1 to 3 just east of Pittsburgh. And then you'll notice how we really start going 3 to 6. And then this area in here is my 6+ area, assuming the storm comes north. And I think that's eastern Pennsylvania. New York City, listen, I'd have you on the northern edge of that. I really should have done it a little differently. Let me try this a third time, because what I'm trying to do is get an idea, give you an idea of what we're looking at here. And I think it might be best to do this. And then your 6+ area would be in here. So this is like coating the 1, maybe 3, depending on how far you are. This is going to be like a 3 to 6 area. And then this is your 6+ area. All right. And that would include Boston, Providence, Hartford, New York City. I'd have you in a few inches. Philadelphia, I'd have to be in an inch or 2. Pittsburgh, maybe a coating to an inch or 2. Central Pennsylvania, 3 to 6. I mean, this is if the storm comes north. This is what I'm looking at. And I will say, because the storm is going to strengthen, I'd really worry about eastern New England that can get a big storm out of this. For much of this storm, for much of the area, it's not going to be a huge storm, but watch out eastern New England, around the Boston, Portland area, down toward Providence, around Hartford. That's where the storm, if it bombs out as it goes offshore, that's an area to watch. Now, we don't have a snowfall map yet, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what I'm thinking. This all assumes this doesn't get buried to the south. I'm not ready yet, but I want to give you an idea. If it does come north, where's the area? This is where I'm thinking. I hope that makes sense. I know I showed you a lot, and this is a long video. I got to go. So I hope this makes sense. The timing of this is Monday night, Tuesday. Windshield wipers in effect, back and forth, back and forth. I'm telling you, I don't think we're going to really start honing in on stuff until maybe Friday or Saturday. I tend to think this is coming north, like I have here, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see how it works out. Questions? Follow me. I'm on X at AccuReno. I hope this makes sense. I'll leave this map up. Again, this is just a general idea. That area is 6+. Let's see how much plus it could be. If this really bombs out off the coast, someone could get a foot of snow out of this. It would be in eastern New England. So let's see. Hope it makes sense, and thanks for watching.